Hello everyone, this is Rebecca Jane from stitchslowly.com. Now, if you've seen the first video, I explained how I decided this, why I decided this picture from a card. And I explained how I was tracing this onto this piece of fabric. Now, I ended up not being able to trace it because it was too dark. So what I'm doing differently now is I'm taking this tracing, which I just traced onto tracing paper, from the card. Where's the card? Here's the card. Let me turn it. This is so much fun, isn't it? Okay, and I'll show you how I'm going to trace it in a moment. So just a quickie about slow stitching. If you're new to slow stitching, you'll say, well, what is going on with, I'm sorry, just making sure I'm on. If you're new to slow stitching, you'll probably say, well, what is slow stitching? You're actually cutting fabric and putting on a piece of fabric. So it looks more like an applique. Actually, slow stitching is anything where you're doing it by hand. You're stitching by hand. I am a slow stitcher. I've always, even quilting wise, when I made large quilts, yes, I did use the machine, but most of my wall hangings are all done applique, and I did all by hand. Even the quilting itself I did by hand. So that's in my blood, is to slow stitch. So if you have any questions, just comment below. I'll try and answer any of the questions you might have about, well, explain it a little bit in more detail. So what I did was I tried to trace this, and because it didn't work, I explained it. So what I decided, here's my little space that I'm using for the card. So it's going to be the exact same size of this card. And then you'll see here, I've taken white fabric. Now I have, if you see this, I have scraps. This is free from so many projects, and that's what I'm using. So I'm picking the white fabric. So I chose like a linen, and I cut out, and I took my here you'll see my tracing, my picture, and I used a lamp. So I'm going to just kind of scoot this over for a moment so you can see what I did. And I used my lightbox, and this is really cheap. I got it at Amazon. I don't know, it was probably, I can't even say, but it's not expensive. This is not a glamorous type of board, but it's just perfect for my desk and just ideal for me. So what I did was I took the traced image, and I took fabric. So let's say I'm doing the little bud, the snowdrop bud, and I place it on top, and you'll see through it. And then what I did, so I'm not going to go into too much detail because I'll show you how to do this with one of the part of the green, the stem. But what I did was, being that it was white, I needed to use this pre-test on, oh, it says pre-test on fabric. So it's a water erasable pen. So make sure you pre-test on fabric first, so you don't end up, it's not permanent, that's why I use it. And then what I took was, I took this and drew this around, just this bud, okay? So you can see now, I'm gonna move this over. That will come out eventually. And I use this pen also around the border, just so I know where I'm going to design this and what, within this shape. And then I drew my first flower, which is a bud, my snowdrop, which is right here. And then I found green. So I have a whole bunch of green fabric. Right? So I'm going through each fabric, and I'm going, well, which one would look good for this? And trying to match it a little bit with what the artist had. What the colors she used, the different greens. And I ended up coming up with this green. and I did the same thing. I traced it, this one first and then this. And I try and use as much of the fabric as possible, so I play with it and see how much I can use so I don't waste. And so I made my little leaf, right? So now there's a little space here, a little area here that needs part of the stem that holds the bud onto the stem, and that I need to do. So I'm going to make that and put that on there too. And how I adhere it is by using it's called sew line. And you can buy it's refillable, and this is my glue stick. So I wanted to show you first how to do this. So what I do is I should let you see it. Oh, I'm gonna move it. So I take it and I slide that glue on. Again, this comes off. This is washable. So it's only there just to help out, just to adhere it to the fabric until you've sewn it on. And then I'm placing it. Now, being that what I love about slow, you'll find I miss up words a lot. What I love about slow stitching is that it doesn't have to be perfect. And that's me. Not that I am a kind of a perfectionist, but it helps me not to be a perfectionist. Gives me an out, so I don't have to try and do everything just right. So here I am, I've finished the stem. Now what's beautiful about this, if I don't like it, I could pull it off and do it again. Even at the point of when I'll sew it. And then I've chosen another fabric, which I'll do on my own, and you'll see in the next video. Another for the little, I'm not sure what it's called. I'll look it up and I'll tell you the next time. You probably know. But I probably might go with this color. But I have a whole bunch of fabric I'm gonna use. I'm not gonna buy new fabric for this. There's no reason to do that. So you can see already, I'm beginning to create my picture. And and also, just before I end here, you'll see a little purple here, and you're wondering, well, if you're wondering, and obviously the blue line. The blue line is this little line here, but it's water. It's washed off by water, so you don't have to worry about you're going to have a blue line there for permanently. So I'm going to sew over that, and then I'll eventually wash it off, and I'll show you how to do that when I reach the end of when I complete this. I thought, oh, I love how it looks here, and I couldn't find fabric because I'm using what I have that has purple in it. So sometimes you'll find like a pretty fabric that has like a pattern of purple in it somehow splattering over the white fabric. But then I had this, and I thought, oh, I have a whole bunch of this that I'm not sure what I'll use it for. So I thought, let me try. And what I do is I cut little piece and I started to shred it. So you'll see you can actually use your finger or something to shred the fabric so it frays, and it gives it it makes it more dynamic and more impressionistic. So that's so far as far as I've come with this project. And I will create another video, and you'll see it a little bit further along, and I'll show you what I've done and how I've mixed how I've been able to create some of this texture that is on this card and in this design and the artist's rendition of snowdrops. And then it'll be interesting once we get to the other side, because it's slightly different, the colors. And so that's where we end. And just to remind you, this is Rebecca Jane from stitchslowly.com. If you want to see more of these videos, subscribe, give me a thumbs up. Let me get my thumb out. And hit the bell to receive notifications of the next video. Thank you so much. Have a lovely day, and I'll speak soon.